Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Crypto Wolf back again, and this time, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Gonna try something new for a change. With everything going on in the world, all the craziness, all this trying to freeze bank accounts, and governments going after people's finances, and trying to halt crypto and track it and tax it. Everything going on, even in Canada, where they were talking about they were trying to freeze these crypto wallets. They don't even know what the heck they're talking about, but given that's the case, we're going to be talking about privacy coins. Little quote I found up here on the right: the financial freedom is freedom from fear. There's some alliteration for you, but it's the truth. So let's get into it real quick before I dive too far. And look what's happening on the charts. Everybody's dumping. Just super, super dumping. Look at this: 12, 11, 12, 12, 12. It's just going on and on and on and on. But we're seeing some signs of weakening right now. This is on the 1 hour, the Bitcoin, starting to clip a little bit on the momentum wave. Got the money flow coming into the red. RSI's tight and pointed down. Not the greatest, but if you've been watching the last couple videos, I had this GAN box up on the chart, and look what we got right here. Came right down to the 2x1 line. Finally found a little bit of support. If you remember in the video before, I was saying, if we came back to this support level here and we broke, actually there's two videos again, if we broke that support level, that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for potential moves to the downside. Not immediately, it might take a minute, but I'm keeping my eye out for us to hit 30K, because this support line right here, coming from these 2 points, is a pretty strong one. Now, granted, it's not a guarantee because we drew it when we only had this much data. Could be that, we're coming across here or something like that. So you never know till you know. But just wanted to show you guys that a little bit. As you can see, we hit that line. Broke to the downside. Let's look at ETH real quick here. Same thing. Had that resistance level right there at the previous high, and just nada. Again, we're pushing that line right now, so we'll see what happens. But it's looking a little ugly for the moment. Hopefully we're starting to bottom out here. VWAPs are starting to come up a little bit. I think it was a little closer. It's a little closer on Bitcoin. And that's the 1 hour. So if you don't know, when you get the VWAP crossing up on the 1 hour, I mean, that's a done deal. It's time to go in on them. But all right, so to the privacy coins. Wow, that's bright. Coming over here, I was just looking for a little list just to see what some places are saying top 10 privacy coins. Let's take a look here. I'm sure you've heard of some of them. Monero. I'm sure you've heard of Zcash. It's a big one, been around for a minute. A lot of stuff kind of built off of Zcash. Secret, I am not familiar with, or this Mina. Not super familiar with that. Horizon, this one I've been hearing a little bit about lately, and I'm going to dig into a nice description on this. I'm going to do descriptions on a couple of the big ones, just real short ones. Horizon we'll get into here at the end. Keep Network, I don't know. New Cipher I've heard of. That one's been on Coinbase for a minute. Kunos X, I do not know. Mobile Coin, I never even heard, or maybe I did hear of it, but I paid no attention because it's called friggin' Mobile Coin. And of course, Pirate Coin, one of my personal favorites, but then again, I may be a little biased. Might have something to do with that. But let's jump over here a little bit. I'm not going to go through this whole article because it's friggin' long, but I did want to at least give you a brief description if you are unfamiliar with what privacy coins are. Basically, they are coins that are specifically tailored toward leaving the user anonymous. So like Bitcoin, where you have a very transparent public ledger on the blockchain, you can go back and you can see through every transaction, what the wallet address was. You can trace that wallet back. You can even see how much is stored on specific wallets. And so with privacy coins, it's the opposite. They go through various lengths to hide and conceal where it's coming from, where it's going to, how much is in said wallet, how much that specific transaction was for. And depending on which one of the privacy coins we're talking about, they do it to various different degrees, some even having multiple options. So, somewhat controversial privacy coins like Monero and Dash rose to prominence to address this issue, given by users the ability to send and receive value anonymously. Keyword there. Many more privacy coins have sprouted in their path, but which is the most private crypto? Today we have so many privacy-focused coins in the crypto market that it's becoming hard to choose which ones would suit our needs. It must be said that privacy coins are increasingly in the crosshairs of global anti-money laundering regulators due to their ability to facilitate money laundering and terrorism funding. Now, obviously, that's something that, I'm not condoning or supporting or anything like that. But at the same time, with great freedom comes great responsibility. And that's just kind of life, whether it's crypto, privacy coins, dollars, gold, silver, property, anything else, where there's a will, there's a way. And regardless, people are doing bad things. Nothing's going to stop people from doing bad things, regardless of how much you try to regulate or put laws in place or anything like that. Fact of the matter is, water is going to take that path of least resistance, and it's going to flow whichever way it has to get down to where it's going. Same way criminal elements are going to find a way. Prohibition, made alcohol illegal. What happened? Organized crime came through, bootlegging, the whole 9 yards. Got Al Capone, NASCAR came out of that. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. People are going to find a way. If they want to do it, they will. If it wasn't through this, I mean, the most used currency in organized crime and money laundering and all that stuff is the US dollar. So obviously they're trying to get rid of that. They want to do CBDCs so they can track literally every transaction and turn it into a financial hellscape. But moving on here, privacy coins, I basically just described that. Are they legal? Generally speaking, yeah. There's some countries where they don't let exchanges offer it on the exchange to people in certain countries. Yeah, delisted right there. Just real quick, top privacy coins like Dash, Monero, and Zcash have been delisted by multiple trading platforms, including Bittrex, CoinCheck, Coinbase UK, not to be confused with US, and Shapeshift, while Gemini actually added Zcash September 2020. And I believe some other ones brought Zcash back as well. But getting into this here, so Dash OG, been around for a minute. Started out as a fork of Bitcoin back in 2014. And the pioneering privacy coin was called Xcoin, later changed to Darkcoin, then finally Dash. Dash contains elective anonymity characteristics such as private send, which uses coin join strategy to mask the data. Focus on usability protection. Being a Bitcoin fork means that Dash isn't natively anonymous. Additionally, the CEO thinks that Dash isn't an anonymity-enhanced cryptocurrency. So even the creator is saying that it is not going to keep you anonymous. So just a heads up there. And if it is built off of Bitcoin's blockchain, whatever data is on that chain is going to be searchable and trackable. So coming down here, Dash versus Monero. So Monero is where we start getting into something a little better. Although both have privacy functionalities, they have fundamental differences in their design as privacy coins. Dash utilizes a two-tier system that merges proof of work with proof of stake. Furthermore, its anonymity feature is optional through the private send function. On the other hand, transactions on the Monero network are natively anonymous. Note that Dash uses CoinJoin, while Monero employs an array of privacy-enhancing strategies, including ring signatures, ring CT, etc., making it more untraceable than Dash. Monero trumps Dash when it comes to privacy, but Dash is a lot faster and cheaper to use, and you're always going to have these trade-offs, whether it be speed or decentralization or gas fees or transaction fees. Regardless what coin or token we're talking about, there's always this balancing act that people are always working on, like hopefully with the new update with Ethereum, we lower the gas fees, but then they worry about, are we getting rid of privacy decentralization? Usually the case. Kind of have 3 tiers with that one, but that's a story for another time. Dash versus Zcash. Dash uses X11 hashing algorithm, while Zcash employs the ZK snarks mechanism. And remember this because it's going to come into play later because it's used by other things too. And the Equihash algorithm share some similarities, including both being Bitcoin forks and a block size limit of 2 megabyte. That's the other third tier, is the block size, and a confirmation time of 2.5 minutes. When it comes to privacy, Zcash beats Dash since Dash's transactions can be traced when one has access to master nodes. Not to mention, anytime you have one where there's an option whether you want it to be anonymous or not, then you have a little bit of tracking there that if you're using the same coin, maybe you're sending it from this address without being anonymous to X wallet, or the next time you send it to an exchange you want it to be anonymous, or vice versa, then supposedly it makes it easier to trace things back because of that. Again, try not to get too far into the weeds here, but Monero, considered by many to be the best anonymous cryptocurrency in the market, as it uses a powerful suite of privacy features such as ring CT, stealth addresses, and ring signatures. In fact, it's so exceptional that the US IRS had to put a bounty of roughly $625K for anyone who could crack its anonymity technology. However, a chain analysis employee has claimed that Monero is smartly invented but not flawless. I'd be curious to see how that went if they were able to crack it. To check or prove payment has gone through, users need to provide more than just the Monero transaction ID hash. Instead, you would need the Monero transaction ID private transaction key, a one-time key automatically generated each time, and the recipient's public address. With these 3 pieces of information, interested parties can then check using the Monero GUI wallet. Monero Bitcoin, I'm not going to get into that. It's not really related. Zcash, another top privacy coin, shares same root as Dash, which is a fork of Bitcoin, headed by Electric Coin Company. The anonymous cryptocurrency uses energy-intensive proof-of-work mechanism to confirm transactions. I feel like that was a little bit of bias coming out right there. Like they're trying to push toward proof-of-stake. Just, it uses so much energy, but that's a topic for another day too. Offers the choice to hide transactions via privacy and untraceability mechanisms called shielded transactions and ZK snarks. Again, Zcash uses the ZK snarks feature, while Monero combines stealth addresses and what we just talked about. On Zcash, users get to enjoy the flexibility of choosing which transactions they want to cloak and which ones they want to make public, making it a flexible, anonymous cryptocurrency. Monero developers, on the other hand, believe that making privacy optional would weaken the private network's anonymity set. But didn't we just hear that they did have 2 options? Up in here. So we'll see here. So when it comes down to Zcash versus Monero, they have their pros and their cons. Zcash has, I believe, 4 options, and just by that nature, I suppose, opens it up to a little bit more weakness, whereas Monero, I guess, has 2. So it's kind of easy to see why maybe Monero is the more popular one. And of course, you're always going to have, the price itself driving people to get into it. But Beam, not going to do. Okay, so that's it for this one. Moving on. This one's got some better, shorter descriptions. Just these little paragraphs here. I'm going to go through this one because they do a little bit better job. Zcash shares many similarities of Bitcoin. First, to introduce public fork on the Zcash network, you have a choice between 2 types of transactions. You can either opt for completely transparent transactions similar to Bitcoin, or choose to proceed with a shielded private transaction. Uses ZK snarks, sure privacy. This form of cryptography secures communications by sharing knowledge of a secret, but never revealing the content of the secret itself. That's how cryptography works. It's kind of self-evident, but every user holds their own view key. When needed, the user can share their view key with somebody else and unshield all hidden transactions. Additionally, Zcash transactions come with a memo field. The memo field can carry data that identifies the transaction wherever the law requires it. It's a useful feature for transfers between companies and financial institutions. Why companies and financial institutions would be transferring Zcash, I don't honestly know. I mean, at that point, especially if you're putting, you know, viewable memos in there and like probably defeating the purpose for somebody who doesn't even need the purpose. Dash, yeah, same thing. Yeah, it was the first privacy-centric based on Bitcoin, widely used on the dark web for illicit transactions. Lately, the company no longer follows this mindset and claims it stands for digital cash you can spend anywhere. So yeah, they cucked out, whatever. Verge, this one is a little bit more well-known with an interesting story. Verge was created in 2014 under its original name, Dogecoin Dark, and was rebranded as Verge in 2016. It's an open source privacy coin that hides the IP address of the network users with Tor. If you're not familiar with Tor, go look it up. Beautiful thing. You know, that's basically your gateway to the dark web and all that good and terrible stuff, making it difficult to determine their geolocation. The coin is meant to serve everyday money transfers, offering cheap and fast sub 5-second transactions. When it comes to mining, Verge offers 5 different proof-of-work algorithms for mining, giving it a good versatility for miner equipment. Additionally, it might be worth mentioning that XVG was one of the biggest gainers during the altcoin bull run of 17, making more than 2,000x its original value, but we're not talking about price. Many have to thank John McAfee, rest in peace, for this, since he timed his tweets perfectly. Let's see what he said. I haven't read this. I am inundated with people asking me for recommendations on crypto. If you would use your heads, you would figure out that the privacy coins, anonymous transactions, will have the greatest future. Coins like Monero, Verge, or Zcash cannot lose. I happen to agree with that. I think, you know, the way we're heading into a little bit of a regulatory dystopia, I think privacy coins are going to be making a boom. Probably, you know, over the next couple years even. I doubt it would even maybe take that long if they keep pushing as hard as they have been. Bitcoin, Komodo. I'll get this one real quick because it comes back up later in this video here. Komodo platform is an end-to-end blockchain solution that can be used to launch independent cryptos. So it's kind of like a launch pad here. It originated as a source code fork of Zcash, and as such inherited the ZK snarks. Additionally, Komodo platform uses a DPoW security mechanism